The Victorian Cooperative on Children's Services for Ethnic Groups, VICSEG, supports children's bilingual language development through cultural playgroups. This video explores the benefits of raising children in more than one language. It features parents, children and playgroup leaders enjoying stories, songs and rhymes in their home language and in English. The setting is a seminar at the St Albans Library in Melbourne's Inner West, featuring Professor John Hajek from the University of Melbourne. Professor Hajek talks to parents and grandparents from diverse cultural backgrounds about the benefits of raising young children bilingually and how this helps with their future development. He also provides practical ideas and tools to support children's language learning.
Learning another language, whether in the home or at school, only brings benefits to your children, including benefits in learning English language, English literacy, English numeracy. Positive attitude towards language learning is important, and you need to be consistent. So when you're using your language with your child, make sure you're being consistent, you use it as often as you can, and avoid using English. You don't need usually to worry about their English. They have lots of opportunity to hear and listen to English all around them in their everyday life and at school. The important thing is that they share your language in your family and all the benefits for your family and for your good health into the future.
I'm Vietnamese, but we don't speak a lot of Vietnamese at home. But I bring my daughter Violet to Vietnamese playgroup here because she enjoys mingling with the kids who are Vietnamese here, and she learns a lot from the teacher because the teacher reads in Vietnamese. And I think it's important that they need to, have a bit of their background so they don't lose it.
It's actually good for you, it's good for your family, it's good for your children, and it's good for everyone in society if you also keep your language and pass your language on to your children. And we know that people who have more than one language have the ability to have more contact with other people and actually have more positive attitude about other people as well.
It is very important to know your culture, your language. It is very important for us especially, and that's why we are getting together here and speak in Turkish.
It's not just within the family here that it's important, it's also about maintaining links with your family that live in other countries, that might live in Vietnam or might live in South Sudan or might live in Malta or might live in any other country. It's important that your child has the ability to communicate properly with your family wherever they are.
I came today with my granddaughter to the playgroup, and I really love it because there is so many language I learned today, like when they're singing a song, what to say hello in Chinese and what to say hello in English and Arabic and Dinka, and I'm from Dinka tribe.
I don't think there is anything worse when a child is unable, because they've been told they must speak English. I don't think there's anything worse than a child not being able to communicate to their grandparents or actually even to their own parents. This is not uncommon, or to their other relatives. That's very sad and it's not necessary.
My daughter's name is Asana. I bring her in Iranian playgroup. I like her to learn English and Persian here, and it's good, and it will improve her English and her Persian too.
So it's important to be positive about your language. You also need to speak your language to your child at home all the time, and you need to be consistent. You need to speak your language. The critical thing is that if one of you speaks one language very well, that person use that language and stick to it. It's what we call the one parent, one language principle.
When we're at home, my husband constantly speaks in Turkish to my son, and I speak in English. Whenever my son speaks with his dad, he speaks in Turkish. Whenever he speaks with me, he speaks with English. So that's how we know the differences, and he sees the differences of the language as well.
And it doesn't matter they make mistakes in one language or they make mistake in 2 languages or 3 languages, it doesn't matter. They always make mistakes. That's normal. You, as their parent, are the first teacher. Your job is to help them understand their mistakes with patience to improve their language. It's important that your child gets the best language input. Okay, and what that means is the best language is your first language. All right, that's the language you know best. That's the language that you have the most words for. That's the language you can use to describe most things, and that's the language you probably pronounce the best.
I'm a Vietnamese storyteller. I really enjoy working with children. I read the book for them in Vietnamese and explain for them, the color and like animal names, something like that, and they really enjoy it.
What your child needs at home is what we call rich input. They need to hear a lot of language, and they need to hear a lot of good language, and they need to hear a lot of interesting language. And that for us is our first language. And you can use your language to teach your child how to read and write. It's absolutely possible. There are no problems with that. And the benefits are good for English. For me, it's been a very long-term investment because I actually want my children to go as adults. When they're older and they travel on their own, I want them to go and have that experience of being able to communicate in the village.
I've been coming here since my son was 11 months, Ataöz. He's 4 years old now, and I have seen a lot of speaking of Turkish and English, the differences. He knows the differences. He doesn't mix the Turkish and English together. When we speak in Turkish, he does speak in Turkish. When we speak in English, he does speak in English. And also the interaction with other kids is very good as well.
Children are not confused by more than one language. Children are very clever, and we know that from birth, from the moment they're born, they can tell different languages apart. We know that speaking more than one language is very good for your brain. It's actually very, very good for you. And there's increasing evidence as to why it's good for you. I bought a book with the title 100 Ways to Stop Alzheimer's Disease. One of the chapters is about speaking 2 languages, that it's very good for your brain and it makes you healthier when you're older. We know that when you do x-rays of the brain, that when you speak 2 languages, you're using more parts of your brain.
In African playgroup, we're doing the song in English, and then after we do it in our language, Dinka and Arabic, because it keeps our children, remind them our background, they could not forget.
They are smart, they have brains, and their brains are learning. Their brains are like sponges. Every child is different, okay? Some children start very early to speak, other children start very late. But there is no connection between being slow and speaking an extra language. We know that children do much better in education when the attitudes are good, when the attitudes are positive. And this is true in all education.
And sometimes kids don't know maybe animal's name in Turkish or food's name. We can just do both. We can translate them.
I would encourage you to show your child how your language is written. We know that we write Dinka. We know that we write many of the Myanmar languages, Tetum or Hakka, or character base, or Vietnamese or whatever. All right, they need to know that it's normal. You know, look, my language is also written, okay? And you can help support your child learning English by teaching them to read and write in your language as well.
Monkey.
Evet, maymun. Maymun ne sever peki?
Banana.
Bu muz sever değil mi? Muz. Nasıl yiyoruz muzu? Alıyoruz böyle. Açıyoruz. Ondan sonra... çok güzel.
You don't have to focus on reading, okay? You focus on the talking and the understanding. So what you do is you take this picture and you talk about everything you see in the picture. You say to the child, what do you think, what is that? I'll give you an example. We're not reading, we're talking. We're talking, we're not reading. Look at this animal. What animal do you think this is? And they may say the wrong word. And you say, oh no, we call this a lion. And then we talk about the lion. What do we call this? What do we call this? What do we call the paws? So already the child is getting lots of words. You're talking backwards and forwards. And then you can ask, what noise does the lion make? All right, and in English we say roars, but in your language it'll be something else. Remember, it's supposed to be fun. When children are little, what is the number one thing children want to do? Play. Yes. When you're a child, you want to play. So you use that to your advantage. Use the fact that children like to play to learn your language. So how do we play in your language? So we might have songs for little children. Teach your children those little songs. Those songs are very important. So you have rhymes, all right, you have little poems, you have songs, you have games, but you're playing with language and the child is getting the language and it's being repeated. Repeated. It's important that it gets repeated, but that they're also having fun.
As a training organisation, VICSEG also provides professional development for playgroup leaders and childcare educators to work with bilingual families and their children.
This book, Peekaboo, we read this book for 1 or 2 years old, and we ask them like how to make faces, and at the end, if you don't have mirror, you can bring mirror with you, and you ask each child to make face, like a smiley face, sad face, silly face.
1, 2, 3, 4. Hinchi pinchi hawa yani tanwila. Vile uno ibadakula waturina vila.
Today we are going to have some stories and remind ourselves. You already know. I'm just going to remind you how to tell stories. And I can see from how expressive your faces are that this is going to be beautiful. And it will be beautiful for the children that you care for. The first thing I want to say is your beautiful face and your actions, these are gifts for the children. It's always a bit of an unknown when you come to work with a new group, particularly with an interpreter, because sometimes that can chop it up a bit and make it the attention feel very divided. But that was not my experience at all today. I found it was a delight working with Juan. She was familiar with the stories, and I found the women incredibly responsive and ready to participate, and that was a real pleasure because it's always a reciprocal engagement between you and the people that you're telling to, and they were so ready to respond and join in and have a go. It was really a lovely thing to do.